We go over the hills of northern Argentina with their perfume fields and unmatched soft breezes. Wonderful scenery and splendid roads open all the year round. And we arrive in Tucumán, Argentina's garden city, center of the sugar industry and of historic importance, because it was here that Argentine independence was proclaimed in 1816. The government hastens the completion of roads in the province of Tucumán. The work undertaken by the road department is nearing completion. Buenos Aires will be soon joined with the northern part of Argentina by splendid roads, as it is now joined with the Straits of Magellan. In the meantime, here we have to go over provisional roads, a little dusty but practicable. There are still some bridges and road signals to complete, so Kastulovic, who has with him special maps enabling him to drive blind night and day, this is no obstacle. This is what we call dust. However, we must step on it while the car and tires can stand it. At Frias, half of this avenue belongs to the province of Catamarca and the other half to that of Santiago del Estero. Near the city, the river flooded and carried away this bridge, causing the death of many people. In winter, the river dries up and Kastulovic is able to drive across with his Mercury at a good speed. In the desolate countryside of Santiago del Estero, children carry wood and smoke like grown-ups. This little girl goes with her father to look for wood and quite naturally blows out smoke. Roads are changing from day to day and will be the basis for the future development of these regions, until recently completely abandoned. In traveling over the many hundred miles of straight road built through the enormous salt lake beds in this part of the country, Kastulovic was able to maintain speeds of over 100 miles an hour during many hours. We are now by the historic carob tree, under whose shadow Facundo rested for a few minutes before he was murdered at Barranca Jaco 104 years ago by the enemies of Rosas during the latest dictatorship. In Córdoba, the arrival of Kastulovic with his Mercury was a big event. A record time for this trip is now assured. The public, which had been kept informed by news bulletins over Radio El Mundo and the Blue and White Radio Network of the progress of this long drive, shows its enthusiasm. During 3 days, the radio stations continually broadcasted the progress of Kastulovic's record-breaking drive to the whole continent. After a quick check-up, Kastulovic sets out again to burn up the roads. He steps on the gas and keeps stepping on it. Night travel is dangerous and the drivers are tired. Fruit? We certainly feel like stopping for a couple of apples. Night must be shortened. Let's go on and on. It's the best we can do. But we find it necessary to stop. Enrique Massetti was born in Villa Maria. The whole town wants to greet him. His brothers want to welcome him, and his happy mother comes out to kiss her son. We take advantage of these few minutes to again look over the Mercury, which has so consistently stood up mile after mile through all classes of roads, altitudes, and climates. Adios, adios, good luck, shouts Massetti's friends enthusiastically, the same as they did in the days of his well-known racing father. Soon after starting, Kastulovic is again brought to a stop. His high speed has caused the air in the tires to expand, which is very dangerous. With 5 pounds less pressure, there is no danger in driving at 100 miles an hour during the last 360 miles. Besides, Kostulovic is now taking good care of his Firestone tires, which are the same ones with which he left Lima, as he wants to get to Buenos Aires without changing them. In Rosario, second largest city in Argentina, they have to take on sufficient gas to reach the capital, which is 220 miles away. One of Kostulovic's main precautions is to keep his Firestone tires at the right pressure. Oroño Park in Rosario is a beautiful place. It would have been worthwhile stopping here to admire it, but we must keep moving. In Buenos Aires, crowds await impatiently while Radio El Mundo continues to broadcast the progress of the drive. The most enthusiastic ones await on the road. They want to take a look at these men who have been driving without rest for 3 days and 4 nights. The road inspectors are hard-boiled. They don't understand anything about records. They order the drivers to stop and show the papers, and don't you try to race, they warn them. Yes, of course, answers Kostulovic. I'm taking it easy. As you will see, 95 hours ago I left Lima, crossed the entire Bolivian territory, and only now am I near Buenos Aires. As they approach their goal, the cheating increases. Everybody recognizes this new official record. Thousands of people crowd the arrival post. The successful ending of this record-breaking drive has been broadcast to the whole continent by Radio El Mundo, Radio Nacional of Lima, and Radio Ilimani of Bolivia, and by other radio stations in Chile and Uruguay. Kostulovic has practically demonstrated that Buenos Aires is only a few hours away from Lima. Modern roads have accomplished this miracle, which our grandparents didn't dream of. Peru and Bolivia have followed the example of Argentina in pushing the termination of the Pan-American Highway, which has been enthusiastically endorsed by the Argentine President, Dr. Roberto M. Ortiz. Chile has been for many years joined with Argentina and Peru by roads over which the Grand Prix of the Americans will be run in 1942. The car is approaching. The 6 powerful lights of Kostulovic's Mercury can be seen at a distance. He is approaching fast. The crowd shows excitement and the police is unable to control it. Everybody wants to be the first to greet the drivers. Here he is at last. The signal flag has been lowered by the president of the Argentine Automobile Club, General Idoate, and Mr. Angel Musi. Supervisor of the drive puts his signature to the route sheet and verifies the seals in the vital parts of the car: the engine, the differential, the front axle, the gearbox, the driving wheel and the chassis. The car moves with great difficulty. Kostulovic has finished his trip from Lima to La Paz and to Buenos Aires, covering 3,018.2 miles in a record time of 96 hours, 8 minutes, 25 and 3/5 seconds, which time is controlled by the Peruvian Touring Club, the Bolivian Automobile Club, and the Argentine Automobile Club. Kostulovic brings a special message for the Peruvian government, stating that Peru sympathizes with the object of this raid, and adding that the Peruvian government has named him to bring their greetings to the Argentine and their wishes for the continual prosperity of this country. The 8 seals of the Mercury show that the car hasn't suffered in the least throughout the whole trip. It is a most practical demonstration of the excellent conditions of the roads joining these 3 countries, and the best encouragement for thousands of tourists to follow the example of Kostulovic during the dry season between May and October. After the trip, the drivers are greeted at the Argentine Automobile Club by officials of the latter, diplomats and sportsmen. The drivers show no fatigue. Kostulovic has enough energy to make a speech of 45 minutes over the radio, during which he said that many years ago the covered wagons, following the trails of the chasquis or engine runners, took many months to cover the distance between Lima and Buenos Aires. The stagecoach took many weeks. Today the railroads take 10 days and the airplanes 3 days, while he, in his Mercury car, comfortably traversed the distance separating the capitals of Peru, Bolivia and Argentina in less than 100 hours.
Para triunfar, luchar y nunca desmayar, alentando siempre la esperanza de imponer la divisa, vencer y vencer, vencer y vencer.